Okay, cool. This is my clever lightning talk called Casting Computer Spells or Coding with Your Voice. I'm Ben Rollin. Okay, so just some quick background because not all of you might have met me before, but um, you know, I joined Clever back in 2017 on Pi Day. So yeah, so for about 3 years, I used my hands as the most relevant characterization of that period of time. And unfortunately, around 2020, a minor calamity befell me, and I basically got a nerve condition called thoracic outlet syndrome. You can think of it as like super carpal tunnel syndrome. And yeah, so I took some time off. I got a few ribs removed, and I'm a silver lining is that then in 2021 I started using my voice to code, which I think is really cool, and I'm really excited to share with you all. And then rejoined Clever just a few weeks ago. So I'm zooming through because I want to leave as much time for the actual live demo as possible. So without much further ado, let's just talk about the voice tools. So Talon Voice is the first one I started using about a year ago, and it's a really cool framework. That's Python based and has lots of cool features. But the one I want to talk about is called Cursorless. And this is what I'll be demoing. So Cursorless is a spoken language for structural code editing, enabling developers to code by voice at speeds not possible with a keyboard. So I can honestly say that for some specific tasks, I am faster. But as a whole, I think I'm getting there, and I have no doubt over time I will get there. I've only used Cursorless for like 3 to 4 months, so I learn things every day, and it's great. And incidentally, I was talking to the creator of Cursorless 4 hours ago, uh, and I made the comment, one does not simply explain Cursorless in 7 minutes, and he enshrined it in a meme here. So it's gonna be hard, but I'm gonna do my best, and hopefully you have some cool takeaways about what my workflow is like. Oh, I wanted to pop out the chat, so let me just do that quickly. Okay. Um, cool. So yeah, I'm going to switch over to VS Code now. Talon Wake. It's great. Focus Code. Zen Switch. Drowse. Okay, cool. So hopefully everyone can see my VS Code. I used a couple commands there to move around my computer. I won't be covering that, but you'll notice that there are subtitles on the bottom showing what my computer heard me say. So it won't always be what I said, but hopefully it'll be something like it. Cool. So here we're going to talk about a core cursorless concept. So the first thing you'll notice are there extra dots over these words. This is VS Code with the cursorless extension running. So the dots are a core part of this. What it's saying is the dot over the A says in the whole file, this is the A word. The dot over the Q says this is the Q word, the B word, the F word, etc. So now let me show you an alphabet. Talon Wake, help alphabet, Drowse. Okay, so what I can do is with these unique dots, I can now identify any token on the screen with a very simple voice command. So the most basic thing I can do here is just select a token. So let me show you that. Talon Wake, take trap, Drowse. Okay, so I said take trap. Take means select. That's one action. There are many actions. And then trap is the letter T in my phonetic alphabet you can see down there. So yeah, so I can do other ones. I can say take air, take fine, and I will be taking that token wherever it is on the screen. So so that's the most basic thing I can do. Let me show you one other thing here. Talon Wake, clone line 10 times, Drowse. Okay, so I did another command there called clone line. Should be obvious. And basically you can see now because there are more words, it had to use colors to distinguish different words. So you can see that there's a system here for uniquely identifying all the tokens the uh, in the code editor. Okay, so I'm just gonna move right along to some actual more realistic, not super realistic code editing. And yeah, hopefully some of this made sense. If not, no big deal. Okay, Talon Wake, help close, tab next, drowse. Okay, so now I've got a very simple code example, very realistic. So I want to just show you first that besides plain text editing, Cursorless actually understands all of the like scope, the abstract syntax tree of the code that you're using. So that means you can interact with it on like a syntax level. So I can say things like take state, that will take a statement, take func, that'll take a function, or class. So I'll demonstrate that real quick. Talon Wake, go 6, take state, take func, take class, drowse. Okay, so it understands those things and much more. I can't show you everything it does, but finally, let me just write a new function to give you a sense of what that would look like. Talon Wake, go 6, clone func, change Jane, word head, word bang, hammer approvingly, chuck arg drum, change tail look, bring made, minus equal, 1 disk, drowse. Okay, so now we've got a super useful function on our hands. It gives you an idea of what the workflow would be like for me. I used clone func to copy that function down. It formats it nicely for me because it was similar to what I wanted. I used chuck arg to delete the argument destination. And it knows like, okay, like this, colon string is part of that. So there's a lot of just niceties like quality of life things built in. So it's just like, easy to use. Okay, so I've done that. Just checking my notes over here. Okay, so I know I'm like at 7 minutes, so I'm gonna do the very last thing to just give you like a slightly more complex example. And then I'll leave it up for questions. Okay, Talon Wake, tab next, tab move right group, command 1, post file, square, enter, bring every item file blue ode, take every item, quad wrap this, post file, dot, fine ode red, enter, paren, word destination, op lambda, brace, enter, bring gust, bring Jane, paren, bring drum, slap, bring gust, bring pit, paren, disk, command 2, file hunt Gandalf, enter, drowse. Okay, that concludes the live demo. Thanks for watching, and I'll take some questions. I haven't really looked at the chat up to this point, so yeah, hopefully there's some interest.
Hey Ben, I have a question, but wait, this is awesome. I wasn't expecting this in the lightning talks, but this was really special. I have to wonder: are there cases where it might not be in your situation, but maybe in others where they want to use voice commands, but maybe they can do some very light augmenting with like keys, maybe to like engage Talon or not, so you don't have to speak those. Like, is that an option, and is that something you would consider using, or is that just too much in terms of like getting any sort of like hand movement?
Yeah, no, that's great. I'm glad you asked it. I actually demoed this talk for Adam and Arsalan to get some feedback. And that's what Adam mentioned. He was like, yeah, you should bring up something we had talked about as like the hybrid idea of like using this sometimes. Like it could be like interleaving both, or it could just be, maybe your arms are hurting you that day, or your wrists or something. And I definitely think that hybrid approach is possible. It's not too hard to get installed or anything. Cursorless is just a VS Code extension. Talon a little bit more, but yeah, I definitely recommend it and would gladly help anyone with the kind of learning curve. And yeah, it's very possible. I think it is better at some things. You got to learn it to get there, so it won't be out of the gate. But yeah, that's a great idea.
I have a question. Have you programmed like custom macros by yourself? And then my other question is kind of like, what is the state of these softwares? Like when I first looked into voice dictation software, it was just Dragon Naturally Speaking. Like, are these softwares like open source?
Yeah, great questions. Yeah, right now, for better or worse, it's a great time to be a disabled coder because there are many such disabled coders who are building this huge ecosystem. So I just showed you my Talon and then Cursorless on top, but there are many, many more blocks on top. And most of it is open source. Cursorless is entirely open source. I helped I contributed very, very small amounts to it. um, and yeah, there's ways to extend Talon via custom Python scripts. And I've done that a bunch. So you can create overlays. So you might have seen this like red bar at the top turn green and red. And that's something I added just for my visibility. But yeah, the sky's the limit. Like you're able to paint arbitrary things on the screen via Python, and it's just like very easy to get going. So you can write in a file like, I want to say these words and I want this arbitrary computer thing to happen. It's like, it's very simple to implement. So it's really fun because every day I'm just like adding a small command or tweaking one. It's that easy and it hot reloads. So it's great. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you.
Mhm.